Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm Moby, the Explorer. And today we're going to talk about exploration in a different way. Often we talk about travel in terms of going to destinations, we talk about taking journeys. But today we're going to talk about journeying without luggage. We're going to talk about how do you engage with and in your community. How can you impact in ways? How can you be impactful in different ways? How can you be impactful in issues, current issues that are going on, and systems? So today I have with me my big sister, Yolanda. I am so excited. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. And again, come journey, lean in with us as we journey without a luggage. Sister!
Well, sister, I am so excited and I am grateful. Let me first say I am so proud of you and just all of the things that you have embarked upon. Of course, you are a woman who is passionate about many things, and travel is certainly one of those things. But I love the fact that you're multidimensional, and it isn't just travel that gets you excited. And so I'm thankful for your compassion. And I think it's that compassion today that is allowing us to share this platform. I am a redeemed woman, a lover of people, an advocate for all things just, and in my role as wife and mom, ordained minister, and nonprofit leader, I get the opportunity to live life in such an adventurous way. So I'm really excited about this title, Journeying Without Luggage. I love to tag along with you on your many adventures when I can, break away and have time to do it. And I can honestly say, you know me well enough to know that I do not travel with a lot of luggage. In fact, it's common for me to get to where I am and not have all that I need because I travel so lightly. And so I'm excited about today's conversation.
I thank you because I know you are very busy, and I thank you for taking time out of your schedule to talk to us. The first thing I want to ask you, we have stepped into 2021. And our system and climates in which we live in are still a little strained. I'm going to put it that way. So many of us, like myself, over the last year have become really involved in different organizations. So how do we get some of the benefits in life as a community without traveling to a destination? But we're doing a different kind of journey. What does that look like?
Yeah, this COVID season is a difficult one for all of us. And I think for travelers, it is especially difficult because I think many of you are avid travelers because of, the benefits that it offers. In my line of work, and when I say my line of work, I really just mean caring for people. And it's always my prayer that God would allow me to do it well. When I think about my life and some of the metaphors we can draw from traveling, it's interesting because when I think about what it means to show up in our community, what it means to use our voices, our time, our talent, our treasures, on behalf of other people, it is a lot like traveling, right? So you come to various places and spaces where people who are living on the margins are, and you do so with that same adventurous spirit that you might approach travel, right? So I know for me, in some of the places that I've been, I've enjoyed myself the most when I've had an agenda, but have held that agenda loosely, right? So you don't travel having to check off everything on your list in such a way that it prevents you from being able to see other things as they appear and take advantage of those other things. And so, the journey that we're talking about today is really about us showing up in our community, being present. We are living in a Me Too movement. We are living in a Black Lives Matter movement. And I would say for the African American woman, for the Black woman here in the United States, those phrases, may catch the attention of a lot of people, but I think it's part of the essence of who we are and the lives that we've lived. And so we have showed up for our community in a variety of ways, right? You and I lived in a home where, and I even hate to say it, but where, Kool-Aid flowed from the pitcher and turkey and ham was always available to our friends. Our mom was just hospitable. That was the way she showed up in life. Our grandmother was hospitable. That was how she showed up in life. And so I'm really just talking about, entering or embarking on an adventure that allows us to show up in hospitable ways and share the gifts, the talents, and experiences, that we have with people who are less fortunate. And not just with people, right? Because I'd be the first to admit, as a nonprofit leader, there are some people that we probably don't want to have interaction, with people who are in a crisis point in their lives. And we don't, simply because they have other gifts or experiences that they can share that would be of greater benefit, than showing up in person at a homeless shelter or in a teen recovery home. So, today I really just, wanted to just kind of share, maybe just some of the ways that the adventures that you have traveling are very similar.
So how,
To what
how
you would
so how
have.
do we do that? So I heard you
Yeah.
name a couple. So tell me, how do we do this now in the time in which we're living in? What
Yeah. I think
how do we position ourselves to be more adventurous within our own community?
Yeah, I think it's, whenever we travel, we're traveling because there's something in it for us, right? If we're honest. I've seen guests on your platform before talk about how they may travel because it's a part of self-care, or they want the journey, they want to see new things, learn new things. And it's the same way. I think when we show up for people, it's understanding the benefits it has, not just for us, but for others. One is self-discovery, right? When I show up with no hidden agendas, but just to be available and willing, I discover so much about myself. The other is mutual reciprocity. When I quit my job over 20 years ago now, almost 25, from an organization, a large telecom organization. When I decided that I did not want to spend the rest of my life growing somebody else's bottom line, I showed up in the nonprofit space thinking I had so much to give and I was going to bring my corporate experience. And I soon learned about the mutual reciprocity. And that's so important for us, that while we have something to give, oh my goodness, when we show up in authenticity, there is so much to gain. When we bring our willingness, our adventurous spirit, what we walk away with is so much more than what we give. And that was, some of the first lessons I learned working for a nonprofit. I think the other thing you talked about, how do we position ourselves to do that? Even before we talk about the brass tactics of how you get involved or where you get involved, I think we have to release ourselves. And when I say release ourselves, it does go back to releasing our agenda. Um, it's unfortunate that many people show up to give with all of these hidden agendas. We want to be seen, we want to be known, we want other people to see us doing good things.
Mhm.
Some of us have guilt that we show up with. Some of us show up because we recognize we have so much and we feel like the least we could do is give a little bit of it away. And so there are all of these reasons why. And so, the first thing is just releasing ourselves to say, however I decided to show up, I release this adventure to whatever it's going to be, and I go along for the ride. The other thing is seriously holding our agenda loosely. I work at an organization that really provides community development in a bunch of different areas. And, one of those areas is homelessness. We have 2 homeless shelters that are gender specific. We house 30 men and 30 women. And unfortunately, sometimes people show up with their agenda. They show up to preach the gospel. They show up because they want their children, to be connected to something that's bigger than themselves. And I'm not saying that there is, something inherently wrong with that, because if that's where you are, we start where we are, but we don't stay there. So this idea of holding our agenda loosely means just be open to the fact that you may be coming through the door because you've got this need, to give back and to share and to do good things. Be open to the fact that maybe God wants to do something in you. Maybe there is something that he wants to heal, something he wants to comfort, something he wants to break. And so holding our agenda loosely allows that to happen. And then I think, in order to position ourselves correctly to do any kind of service opportunity. When you travel, I know you guys say, when in Rome, you do as the Romans. We don't go into an organization, we don't partner or collaborate with an agency with the idea of changing them or bringing them over to our point of view or way of doing things. It's amazing to me the number of people who show up with their own thoughts and ideas about what should be done. Doesn't mean that we're not open to that, but we would never go into, not an avid traveler would never go into another country and try to force their hand, right? You are a guest, you are a visitor in that land. You want to enjoy it, you want to observe, and you don't walk in the door saying, well, in the US, we do it this way, and y'all should do it like that. And so those are some of the same, practical things that we have to consider when we decide we want to assist.
Okay. So what are some ideas for creating this adventure in our own cities, our own states? We're not traveling. What are some ideas? How do I become adventurous in my community?
Yep, I think it starts with us. This is 2021, new year. Many of us are thinking, we're being introspective about our own lives and who we are. So I always advise people, start with the thing that hurts you, the thing that compels you, right? Mm-hmm. So for many of us, it'll be different things. I'm very compassionate about women and women living fully in the purpose that God has for their lives. I'm passionate about everyone having a home. There's absolutely no reason why in the United States of America that we would have people living on the street. And we can have lots of arguments or debates that's where people want to be and all of those. But that is something that I am passionate about. And so I've allowed those things to guide me towards organizations that are really involved and engaged. And it's how I got to the organization I'm with now. Breakthrough does a tremendous job in meeting people where they are and addressing the needs that they have so that they can move out of crisis into a more stable place. So it begins with us. What are you passionate about, right? What are the things that concern you? What are the things that are on your heart? What are those things that make you angry, right? For some, it's the ill treatment of children, right? So whatever those things are that drive you or create there was a pastor who called it a holy discontent that creates that stirring in your soul, then that's what you do. You find the organizations in your community who are actively engaging on those issues. Doesn't always have to be those people who are providing direct services. You know well, we need advocacy in every area. The systems of racial injustice are present everywhere, in our education system, our legal system, our economic system, our political system, housing. There is no place that injustice has not reared its ugly head and wreaked havoc on the lives of people. And so, I think that's where you start. You start with what you're passionate about, what you're angry about, what sort of makes your stomach churn and makes you sick. And then you find the organizations in your community that are actively engaging those issues. And then if you can't find a local agency, there are national agencies.
If I was interested in your organization, how do I, what does engagement look like?
Yes.
So the first, you mentioned Breakthrough Urban Ministries. Mm-hmm. Tell me just one little snippet. How do I get involved?
Yep. So the first thing I would do is invite people to visit our website at www.breakthrough.org. There are opportunities for involvement ranging from education and youth, mentoring, arts, all the way to homeless services. In between that is the intersection of violence, the public health issue that concerns all of us, no matter where you live. Our organization is involved in the gamut of things.
So you mentioned that, and I just want to say, this channel is about exploration. And so you mentioned there may be people who don't believe in organizations. You hear that. I don't believe in organized religion. I don't believe in organizations. Okay, well, let's go with this. There are some older people probably in your family, in your community, that now more than ever, they need socialization.
Yes.
They need someone to talk to. So is it a phone call? Is it finding out who needs help? And you can start by, hey, I haven't talked to my older aunt in so long. Let me check on her. There are people who really enjoy children, and there are people who want to mentor your local school district. You can get involved in the educational system in many different ways. There are kids right now who need that mentorship. They need that at this point. Urban League, Head Starts, and Urban League, they need all kinds of assistance. If you're in St. Louis, in particular, the Urban League, Head Start, they're looking for volunteers. So there are so many different ways that we can explore and travel without a luggage. And just keeping in mind all that is going on, there are people who need us. And those of us who are able-bodied, we can participate. We can also participate in giving. That's another thing. There are so many people who need something simple. Check on them. Give $5. Donate to organizations, Color of Change, the NAACP. There are so many Breakthrough Urban Ministries. There are so many, our friends and family that are struggling without jobs during this virus. Cash out somebody $10. Cash out somebody $5. And I think right now we have to think in terms of community. I've said over and over, how do we build better communities? And these are ways in which exploring our communities, so that if I do better, you can do better, then we can do better collectively. Yeah. Is there any other thoughts?
Well, as you were saying that, I really appreciate the fact that you brought it down to the individual level. Too often we divorce ourselves from people who are in crisis, whether they are the stranger on the street or those in our family. And our families, our communities, particularly for people who, are not into supporting organizations, there are people in all of our families that many of us have written off, that really could use us, right? And when I say use, I mean, could use to have us as an advocate, as a listening ear, as someone who is willing to speak words of kindness and positivity, encouragement, right? That's one thing. We can encourage the people in our families who are in crisis. And then I like this idea of us just looking throughout our community. I encourage, older people, speak to younger people. You'd be so surprised how some of the young men that are on our corners would respond to an older person that stopped and said, "Hey, how are you? How you doing today? How you surviving COVID?" Right? Those kind of gentle things that help to lift people's spirit in unintentional ways, that you and I all possess the power to actually do.
Yes, I thank you. Do you have any last minute thoughts or ways that you can give us to start our journey in 2021 without a luggage? Any other additional nuggets?
No, be adventurous, be adventurous, be adventurous. Enter into a journey that will take you way beyond you even thought were possible, to explore some of the areas of your city that need you the most, some of the areas of your block, your community, your subdivision. There is need all around us. And all we have to do is to respond to that need in authentic ways and be open to explore wherever that road may take us.
Sister, I love you.
I love you more.
So let me say, people, and I've said it before, all I want to do is learn from you. Hopefully you can learn from me. So together we can be better. Listen, we're going to grow and glow together in 2021. Thank you. Leave your comments. I'm going to put in the description, you will see the website for Breakthrough Urban Ministries. You will also see just some little comments on places in St. Louis, if you're in the St. Louis metropolitan area, that you can become more involved, take your new journey in 2021 without a luggage. Hey people, be blessed and safe.